Frankly, don't you feel our nation has been blindsided by one or two clever spin doctors from Chicago? That old we can hype has been ringing awfully cheap and hollow for the rest of us today. We being the people, some 4 million of us, still waiting to be foreclosed on, after all. What happened to the crowd-pleasing pledges and promises of the Obama campaign, anywho? One has to wonder, no? Back when many of us began suspecting something was curiously amiss with the apparent trajectory of the Obama ship of state, we were scolded for being too progressive. We were browbeaten by this administration's so-called spokespersons with the convenient notion of that somehow the very concept of the ideal had suddenly become the enemy of the good. We, the people, were expecting too much? Really? And as we watched, having been routinely chastised by this administration backpedaled on virtually every single campaign pledge that it made to get Mr. Obama elected. The very men who had been responsible for this nation's horrific financial collapse became Mr. Obama's economic advisors. Yes? And even in 2011, with only 2 more years to go before the statute of limitations runs out, our so-called Department of Justice hasn't voiced any intention at all of getting to the bottom of this outright institutional fraud and rampant Wall Street deceptions that so clearly got us into this god-awful mess. Which reminds me of a funny little bit of Burger King advertisement nonsense that President Reagan once got great political traction from long ago. So let's listen to good old Clara again, shall we? And this time, let's not focus on the beef, but rather this time, let's focus on that big fluffy bun.
It certainly is a big bun.
It's a very big bun.
Big fluffy bun.
It's a very big fluffy bun.
Where's the beef?
And at no other time than the turn of the last century was our nation so profoundly separated by such a shocking inequity of the distribution of its wealth. And at no time, other than the Great Depression, was our nation so profoundly disabled by the greedy, self-serving actions of a privileged few. And they tend to live in the suburbs surrounding Washington, D.C., which is actually the only region in the nation where property values have actually been going up lately. Check it out, if you doubt. Hence, our big, fluffy bun. And not a big bun for all, mind you, but just a juicy one for the very few in power. And they are just very few. The ones with all the money and the influence are becoming an even smaller number here. Whereas we are becoming the ever-growing many. And we are quickly becoming the many severely disenfranchised and hopelessly disadvantaged. And we, the people, have been disempowered, for God's sakes. Disempowered, I tell you. Oh, disempowered. We just want that power, you see. We just want it. What we all are bearing mute witness to in America today is a simple fact that unchecked capitalist greed has sown the seeds of our own collective destruction. Destruction. A while ago, there were actually 2 very different political parties trying to run our country, goddammit. But sadly, they have now fused into one. One big, fluffy bun. And it's up to all of us to object to this sad state of affairs. So we suggest a big new party! Duh. 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 Duh.